Months of speculation without much movement, at least that we could see. Behind the scenes, some maneuvering, and now a few pieces, not all, starting to fall into place. No deal yet announced between the PGA Tour and the Public Investment Fund, but we do have some personnel changes on the big board. Shortly after 10 a.m. today, Jay Monahan announced on the PGA Tour's social handles that a search is underway for a new CEO of the PGA Tour. Jay saying he's looking forward to sitting down with potential candidates. This is a new position. Jay Monahan is still commissioner. Joined now by Andy Weitz. He is the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer for the PGA Tour. Andy, thank you for being with us. Let's get some of the simple stuff out of the way. What's the difference between commissioner and CEO of the PGA Tour?
Oh, well, thanks, Rich. It's great to be with you today. And I think I'd start by saying an important part of this announcement is that the commissioner is actually joining the PGA Tour Policy Board. He'll now be a member of both the Policy Board as well as PGA Tour Enterprises, the first time ever, actually, for a sitting commissioner to join the Policy Board. And he'll remain totally focused on everything inside the ropes, making sure that we're delivering the best competitive platform in the men's professional world. And we're excited to bring in a fresh vision, a complementary skill set, if you will, that can help us scale the commercial side of the business. As you know, we created PGA Tour Enterprises almost a year ago. And as we look ahead to 2025, we see a lot of opportunities to take that growth capital that we took on board from the Strategic Sports Group and turn it into value for our fans and our players.
Again, just to sort of explain this as simply as we can to our audience, what's the difference between the PGA Tour and PGA Tour Enterprises?
Of course. PGA Tour Inc. is the long-standing organization. It's our membership organization that our players are members of. That's existed for over 50 years. And that's how we run our competitions around the world. That's really the inside the ropes side of the business. Earlier this year, as we look to scale our platform and grow more aggressively, we created PGA Tour Enterprises. That's a for-profit commercial enterprise that's focused on the opportunities we see ahead, inside and outside the ropes, in terms of how we extend our brand. And obviously, we took on $1.5 billion in growth capital in doing that. And now we see an opportunity to bring in a CEO of PGA Tour that can help us put that capital to work to create new opportunities for our players and more value for our fans.
Andy, to what extent does this move bring the golf world closer to an agreement with the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think it's a signal, Rich, that we're on the right track. I think that this is another example of making sure we have the right people in the right roles to come together and really create some exciting experiences for fans in 2025 and beyond. There's been some public reporting on where we stand in that deal, and I think it speaks for itself. Like any complex deal of this size, it's going to take time to get it just right. And it's been reported that this is likely an investment and that it is a point in the process where it's likely going through regulatory review. And that's totally natural for a deal in this time frame. We look forward to sharing more news on that front, hopefully in the new year.
Strategic Sports Group has made an initial investment of $1.5 billion into PGA Tour Enterprises. What's their role in all of this?
Well, I think obviously they bring that capital to the table. $1.5 billion does help you consider new opportunities to grow. But in addition to the hard capital, it's the expertise. You have leaders from the stick and ball world of sports, if you will, the National Football League, Major League Baseball. And with that comes great perspectives on what we can learn about fan experiences and how we can create more value for everyone involved. And so it's both the idea that we have the capital to grow the business and we have a perspective on how we evolve our fan experience and get better for everyone involved, fans, players, and our partners.
What are you learning, Andy, from the fans through the surveys that you've done?
Well, thanks for asking, Rich. We created something called Fan Forward. Over the last 5 months or so, we've gotten over 50,000 responses from our fans. Those are core fans, casual fans, folks who are more interested in knowing more about golf. What they're telling us is they want to see an evolution to the broadcast experience. We did some great testing with the Golf Channel in the fall to look at how we can make the broadcast even more engaging. Great partnership with our broadcast partners on that front. They also want to, look at potentially incremental rule changes. And back to our investors, some of whom come from Major League Baseball, there's a lot to learn from the evolution of Major League Baseball, as well as what we've seen in the NFL and the NBA. And so we're trying to take all those best practices in. Additionally, our fans are telling us, help us on the player content front. We want to know these players better. We want to better understand what motivates them, how they perform. And we're focused on meeting our fans where they are through various channels in ways that not only create, great experiences for them, but maximize return to the tour. And then finally, we're looking at the on-site experience, what it feels like to come to a PGA Tour event and how we connect that to that whole fan journey.
I mean, could it be something, I'm just going to spitball here, could it be something like the round is over, regular tournament, but say Rory McIlroy or someone of that ilk is now hitting a shot over the clubhouse to a green on the other side, and if he makes a hole-in-one, a fan will walk away with $1 million. Would it be that kind of content that you might try to create?
Man, we sure are spitballing, aren't we, Rich? I mean, listen, I think that, you're referring to some of the great examples out there on YouTube of how a whole new generation of creators are connecting with fans. And I think the commissioner released a great video this morning that talked about how grateful he was to fans for their dedicated following of the tour. And in there, he talked about everything being on the table. We're going to look hard at everything from the broadcast experience to even evaluating formats and rule changes. In the short term, though, we're really excited to have, built what we call the Creator Council, and that's welcoming a dialogue with some of the top creators out there who are doing some of the stuff you talked about. We have a whole generation of players who are embracing that, and we have a next generation of fans who want us to connect in that way. So again, everything's on the table, and it couldn't be a more exciting time at the PGA Tour.
How much more receptive are tour players to wearing microphones in competition? That's been sort of hotly debated back and forth. Not every player is on board with that, but it is very much in line with what it seems today's fan wants. We're seeing baseball players in-game wearing mics and still competing. How much headway have you made on that front?
Well, I think the really key point there is that players want to better understand what our fans want to see. And the fact that we have Fan Forward allows us to inform that conversation with data. And the players are receptive to that. What I found to be great is be it the walk and talks, which you just referenced, or the use of drones, which are giving us really great angles into how players are setting up and attacking the course. If we can show our players with data that this is something fans want more of, we found them to be open to it. And I think that's exciting as we think about what the future could hold.
Job of a tour professional primarily is to shoot 67. That's what it takes. If you can't do that every now and then, you're down the road looking for other work. But what else do you think the job might require in 2025 and going forward?
Well, I think there's an opportunity in some cases to further strengthen the relationship with our fans. I think our fans understand that we've been focused for a certain period of time here on things like product, and there's been a lot of talk of money, but ultimately they want us back in the ropes, inside the ropes, playing with the kind of competitive drama that they've come to love. And back to our players, our members, their voice is being heard in this process. The Player Advisory Council plays an absolutely critical role in all the changes we're considering. And what's really exciting about the PGA Tour is with the creation of PGA Tour Enterprises, we were also able to create the Player Equity Program. So for the first time ever, we have athlete ownership at scale in a professional sport. And more when we talk to players, we're hearing this owner's mindset. They want to understand what fans want from them. When we connect that to the data we have, we find them to be really open-minded. And what's great about that is players want to show up. They want to connect with the fans. They want to deliver the great, aspects of this sport, and they want to do it at scale around the world. We're excited about what the next chapter holds.
Couple final questions. How long do you expect this search to take? And ultimately, where will the bulk of the power lie, with this new CEO position or with the commissioner spot?
Well, from a time frame perspective, we're just getting started. That was the announcement today. We knew there'd be interest in the search, so we wanted to get ahead of it and put it in context. That's why I'm here today. The big picture story is the tour has a lot of momentum. We accomplished a ton of things in 24, everything from creating PGA Tour Enterprises to creating that player equity program that I talked about, to the largest field size and eligibility change led by players in the probably history of the tour, opening PGA Tour Studios, which I'm coming to you live from here, things like Fan Forward, getting the voice of 50,000 fans in the equation. My point is, with all of that momentum and with the growth capital we raised from the Strategic Sports Group, it's time to go faster in 25. And that's what the CEO search is about. It's about bringing someone in with that capability. Now, balance of power-wise, we're really not focused on that. When I heard the commissioner talk to our team this morning, it was about partnership. It was about bringing in a complementary skill set, something that the commissioner has advocated for from the beginning of this process. He has worked with the board to initiate this and couldn't be more excited to see the candidates. Frankly, it's a natural next step in the evolution of the PGA Tour.
Andy Weitz, Chief Marketing and Communications Officer for the PGA Tour. Thank you for your time. Happy holidays to you and your family.
You too, Rich. Thanks so much.